people preach a lot of things, and you can hear a lot of things. You can hear about Adam and Eve, you can hear about Esther and David, and you can hear about all those people. But the thing is, are you hearing Christ, And so when a word's preached and it's Jesus, it's something you can come into. And so I'm excited. I don't listen to a lot of stuff because we all have our Bibles, but why don't we understand Jesus? And then there's a spirit of revelation from the Lord to where you can enter in. And so I'm just grateful and thank you. Amen.
Amen. Grateful and thank you. All right, who's grateful? Give a shout to Jesus. Yay! Now everybody say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we'll give our thanks with our wallets because we are about to cheerfully give. We want to sow into Annalise. Here is Carolyn. Three ways to give. There's PayPal on there. There's Venmo and checks. And God is not a bird. I'm sure you'll hear that. Yeah. So, here we go. I'm gonna pass this around. This is in case there's any checks we want to sow into Annalise. All right. So. Now, where did she go? Tell me when I'm not echoing. Where, oh, where, oh, how's that? Good. I'll turn it off all the way. Or do we want a little? No, none. Daniel. Hey guys, Daniel had a miracle. And, I just say, I give credit out to Lisa. I know. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But Lisa is full of faith over there. And Daniel is full of faith. And they're so precious. They're so cute. And Daniel prayed, Lisa prayed, asking Jesus for miracles. And he got $3,500 for the whole camera deal. From someone that God sent. It was God's provision. God's provision came in an unexpected way. Isn't that often? No. It was given. Yeah. Camera.
The time we're in, churches is like it's not out there. But God has given us these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only you can have a quarter of what I feel for cameras. I'm serious. The whole of COVID, I sat in front of the studios and I put it out there. I pray that God will give you wisdom and understanding to put the right people up and the right word go out. And that God will give you the grace for the editing. You'll need it. Because it's one thing to take the camera up, but we've got to put it. I wish I had a cameraman. At the moment, there's so much burning in me. And I am going back to South Africa. I'm going to hit the studios. If I never travel again, and I can put out on YouTube what I carry in my heart, we have to use it. Lord, I thank you that this is not just for nothing. It's for the purpose of God. And I pray, God, that you will inspire this man, enthuse him, give him new ideas, give him the wisdom and understanding. What other people have learned and went to schools for, you drop it to him in his sleep. And I thank you that you will give him grace for the editing in Jesus' name. Amen. I'll be praying for you.
Oh, that was him. That was me and him doing the drone. Yeah, she said, they found me. Yeah. All right, come on up. Yeah, I think you're ready, huh? Just stick your hands out. Come on, come on. Oh, come on, just a little. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for the word of life. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I pray fresh, refreshing in Jesus' name, Father. Thank you that we are not alone, that we are surrounded, and that we're being cheered on. Yeah, it's our time. It's high time, high time.
Okay, I really take maybe this service is more serious than anybody else. I I count it the biggest privilege to be able to preach. I love preaching. If you don't like my preaching, I'm so sorry for you, but I love preaching. It's your problem. Um, I'll tell you why. I have sat under one of the biggest teachers all my life. I'm married to him, and I don't know if I was asleep or if it wasn't my time or what, but I had to literally lose everything to be able to do what I'm doing. And you just see me, but you don't understand what it takes for me to even be here. But I know, and I appreciate it, and I would rather be here than on any. If they offer me, I would rather choose this, because if we can get one person to agree, it opens up into the spirit realm for the next generation. But the time has come that we understand the word, because I don't know what to do. There's 110 sermons I want to preach to you, and I only have 3 hours. Only 3 hours. How are we going to do it? God's going to help me. I'll never stick to what I'm planning, but I really want you to go with me. And of course, everything, just understand, I'm an African. Nothing you do makes sense to me. If you guys open your mouth, I'm like, huh? What do you mean? So I'm in a different culture. I don't know when I swear, because if you're in South Africa and you say, oh my God, we're like, no, you can't say that. Do you understand? So I know now I can't say hell here, but at least if I say hell, I don't say, oh my God. So, which is right. I drive on the wrong side of the road, so just forgive me in advance. Put your hands out to me, say, I set you free. I am forgiven. Another thing, Terry said to me, my accent sometimes worries people. They don't get what I'm saying. Why would I preach and you don't get what I'm saying? If you don't understand what I'm preaching, please just put up your hand and say, stop. What do you mean? We are here to go further, not so that I am the big preacher. I just want to say there's something terribly, terribly wrong in the church world, and it has to come right. And this is why the world is in such a state, because the church has not taken its place. When it comes to the giftings of the Spirit, we need this light, eh? We need this light. You need this light for me. Yeah, okay. No. It's okay. But when it comes to the gifts of the Spirit, we mush. Do you know what mush means? We crash everything together that should not be crashed, and we separate things that should not be separated. So we have to come to a point where we realize what is what. Because, number one, why would we have a Bible if we can't understand it? Why is Revelation in the Bible if we can't understand it? So maybe today I'm going to get the opportunity to run through the Bible like crazy and see if we can get everything that we just know where we're. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick open the doors for you. I can't take you there. I can just open a door. I might never see you again. We never know what's coming. Because I've learned we don't say we're going to do that if God wills. I'm willing to go where He wants me to go. If He brings me back, I'm just so grateful to be here. So if we look in the church, there's two chapters that really deals with the gifts of the Spirit. And the one is Ephesians. Now, Ephesians talks about the giftings of people gifts. He that descended is he that ascended, that gave gifts unto people. Now, these gifts it's literally in your DNA. When I was this big, I was teaching people. I'm the only one in our school that gave every subject from grade 0 up to matric. And when the inspectors came, I give them their day because I'm a teacher. I was born a teacher. You see, He gave gifts. Apostles, prophets. I just want to kill that cow now. Apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists, and pastors. To do what? To edify the body. Would you please put your seatbelts on? We're going to have a rough ride now. It's going to get turbulent. Not to glorify the gift. In other words, you know who's the servant here? Me. Do you know what I went through to be able to teach this to you? Come on, guys, come on. So who is important? The body. And of all those people, who do you think is most important? I would say the pastor. Because next week, Thursday, I'm leaving. He's staying. Do you understand? So everything I do, I can come in here and show you how good of a teacher I am. This is not right. This is not right. I can go out here. I have the ability to take all your money. I've been in this game 45 years. I see how they do it. I refuse it. I refuse it. But if you receive from me, you need to look after me. Do you understand? Nobody even understands what it cost me to come from South Africa to here. But it's not for me to come in and my son says I should not use the word, but I'm not here to rape a church to see how I can glorify myself. There was enough of it. Okay, so in 1 Corinthians 12, he talks about the gifts in the church. And he talks about, he puts it in 3 categories. 3. The gifts of the Spirit, administrations, and operations. And we only acknowledge the gifts of the Spirit, which is prophecy, tongues, miracles, signs, and wonders. But administrations has all to do with the financing of the church. And operations is the ones that clean the church. So whoever cleaned the toilets are just as important as I am. Do you understand? Now, this is the difference between these gifts. These are the gifts of the Spirit. And he says, yearn for the best one. Desire the best gift. Go in it, go in it. But you can't make yourself an apostle. Sorry, I just want to kick this thing good. Because unless we get the lines in the church right, because it's not about me, it's about the purpose of God. Okay. I want you to just read this one verse with me. Romans 8. Romans 8. This is one scripture I didn't read last night. Was last night not good? Me and I loved it. I really loved it. I really loved it. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good for them that love God. And this is where we stop. Why don't we read? to them that are called according to his purpose. Guys, remember my pawpaw story? Do you remember that? Okay, we are not pawpaws. Where must I stand, brother? Am I moving too round? You're good. I know I'm good, but where must I stand? This is America. Anything you ask them, they say, no, I'm good. I know you're good. So why do you call it a half bath? I go in there, there's no bath. There's a toilet. It's the American dream, a half bath. Do you even understand how funny everything is to me? I'm like, really? Really? This is America? Okay. Everybody say, God has a purpose. For me, for the earth. For sunburn, my family. I'm not a pawpaw. Okay, I want you to, first of all, take the Bible in your hand and kiss it. Sure. This is God's love story to humanity. I want you to get the picture. It's God's love story to humanity. Do you know, if we didn't have a Bible, I wouldn't even know all these things. Just think of the Bible. How many people wrote the Bible? He says, we have a sure word of prophecy. He said, holy men of old spoke as they were moved by the Spirit, and it was written down. And all they did, hi, Kathy. I've never seen you. Welcome in your church. I'm like, welcome in your church. Okay, where was I? Holy men of old spoke as they were moved by the Spirit. And you know what happened? All they did is they didn't know why they do it, but they wrote their life stories down. They wrote history. And the way the Bible is compiled is just so amazing. So, of course, in everything, Satan has a counterfeit. So everybody was writing, and there's folklore, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of scrolls. But then the same Spirit, please get this, the same Spirit that moved people to write down is the same Spirit that moved councils to come together and say, we need to understand what is what. And they sat about 100, 200 years after Christ, or 200 to 300 after Christ. They eventually came together, and they had councils, 300, 400, 500, 800 guys that sat for months and months and months, going through every scroll, to literally decide which one has all truth and which ones does not have truth. All truth. Because the problem is, it's like a conspiracy theory. You know what's conspiracy theories? It confuses you, but God is not the author of confusion. Because the problem with conspiracy theories is half of it is true, some of it is true, but you eventually do not know what is lies and what is truth. And it's, you know what it brings? Confusion. God is not the author of confusion, and it comes from Babel. That's the root of it. God is not the author of confusion. God knows exactly what he was doing. So I'll tell you why I say God knows exactly what he was doing. He says in the Bible, we must hear what the Spirit says. He didn't say we are called according to our imaginations. America. Okay, am I screaming loud enough? Do you get what I'm saying? You cannot go sit and dream things in the Spirit and make doctrines. Do you know that is how the rapture doctrine came? A woman had a dream, and the three blind mice followed her. I think Larkin, Schofield, and which was the other one. And they made it doctrines. Okay, please, guys, get it. We cannot make doctrine. We discover doctrine. You cannot go and look for revelation. You read, and revelation comes. It just comes. It is a place I want every one of you to step in, because only God can reveal the purposes of him, what he's going to do. And as time, this is my motto, as time goes, revelation grows. I tried everything not to be alive. I really didn't want to live. But I come to the realization, the longer you live, the more you can know. Come on, there's a purpose. Because the final generation, come on. I don't know, you're Americans, but I assume you don't watch news and you don't know what's going on. I watch the news every day because I will not land in the middle of the war again because I buy cheap tickets. I found if an airline's tickets is very cheap, it's because there's a war. And you buy the cheap tickets and you get in the middle of the war and they undress you. I've had it. I'm not going there. I want to know what's going on in the world. But I do not allow it to come to me. But in all of that, I have discovered that AIs, they have now, I don't know if you guys know it, but in your country, January, March, they put out a letter to all AI developers. They have to stop developing AIs because they haven't got legislation in place and they're feeding the stuff wrongly. And it will, they say literally, it's not an arm race, it's a suicide race. And none of us knows what's going on around us. Do you understand? Now, I want to come. And everything I'm going to bring to you, I really want to finish tomorrow, because we need to understand what are we busy with. Because gooey, we are not in our zone. We are in death zone. Light came into darkness. Light shone into my darkness. But now we've got to get this light to come into this darkness. This is the race we run. Do you understand? So I just want to say, the darkest time ever on the face of the earth was actually the greatest victory for humanity. Because the day that creation crucified their creator actually became our breakthrough. So we are not afraid of darkness. Why? I'm in Africa. What I've not given away, they've stolen from me. If we stop our cars like that, you come out the church, there's no car. You got to pay someone to watch it. Yeah, you have no idea. But so I found the guy that stole everything in my house. So I took him in my house. I said, you see this one? Hey, expensive. You must steal this one. This one is rubbish. Don't steal it. Don't steal it. It's rubbish. This one, steal it. You can get money for that, but you will pay for it. Do you understand? So, and I was like, I wanted to strangle him. But I went home and I realized no one can steal. No one can steal. No darkness can take away what God has done in my life. Not life, not death. Nothing can can separate me from the love of God. But we have to start realizing that what is inside of us is the same light that shone in the beginning. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is my portion. And God has a purpose for me. Oh no, you don't know my situation. I really don't want to know your situation. I'll tell you why. Because your situation is a picnic against the hell I'm dancing in. We sing so easy. Where was this? Where's the? We sing so easy. Fire burning us. You know what the fire does? It burns. It burns. We sing, God, come burn. And when the fire burns, Pastor, will you pray for me? No, go pray for yourself. I'm serious, guys. We have to understand what is happening with us and where are we on our way to. We have to understand, Isaiah prophesied over me. He said, you will go through the water. You will go through the fire. It will not touch you. When we go through the water, you want the lifesaver. When you go through the fire, you want the fire brigade. Shut up. Step on top of it and get out of it. What I'm saying, I'm not saying cheap. I'm not saying it cheap. I have been through 3 churches now. They tell me before I start preaching, can you please tell us your stories? We want to hear your stories. We don't want the word like, you know. I'm like, you know where my story is going to take you? There is not enough tissues in the whole of America. But God's story. So we have to get out of our story, like right into his story. And this is why we have the word. It is God's love story. Because the minute Adam ate, what happened? The voice said, Adam, where are you? As if God didn't know where they were. He wanted Adam to know where he was. But we just read separate revelations. You know, today Jesus walks on the water. Tomorrow Esther is before the king. And then it's Samson. And then Jesus feeds. And we have like a glorified storybook. But when you step into the volume of the book, because there was a day that Jesus said, not my will, your will be done. In the volume of the book, I've come to do your will. In the volume of the book, we don't even understand the book. Verse 9, Hebrews 10 verse 9 says, I've come to do your will. I've come to remove the first, to establish the second. And we are still confused about that. Listen, guys, it's the year 2023. I just want to bring you in where we are. The world is in a very dark situation. Americans, wake up. My country is already on its back. I don't know anybody who hasn't got 2-3 people murdered in their family. Their grounds are taken. Nobody lifts a finger. America sanctions us. I can't even buy a computer for my son there. Do you even understand what it is when you go into a Walmart and it's full of food? Do you even understand this petrol fuel price you moaning about? We haven't got. 3 days an hour, 3 hours a day, electricity. You know what? We're better off than you. I'll tell you what, you come to a point where you realize it is only God that can do it. Because here, we still worry about Biden and Trump and blah, blah, blah. Wake up. Greenpeace is not going to save your country, neither your government. Okay, I'm trying to tell you what time we are in. We are in a very difficult time. And unless we understand our time, we might succumb to the time. But what is inside of us is above time, is outside of time. And what is this word is the Bible is the working of God within time. Let's see how far I can take you today. If you're hungry, we're gonna go through it. God is out of time and he works in time. And out of time has now come into me. And if I can get this out of time agreeing to this word of God working in time, we're going to be above time. But we don't even know our time. Are you guys with me? The darker it goes, the brighter the light. I've come here for one thing. You don't have to lose everything like we did. There's enough people in this room, if we wake up, because it's not you doing it, it's God in you. But unfortunately, guys, we blame the devil for everything we do. And the real problem in America is between your ears. Because this is where we limit God. Can God lay a table in the desert? And Israel said, mm-mm. And they missed it. God is knocking on your doors today and say, can God lay a table? So we're going to dive into the word. Are you ready for it? He says, 2 Timothy 2:15. This is the scripture that literally changed my life. He says, shall we read it? Let's just read it. Come. Man, I love the scripture. 2 Timothy 2, verse 15. Are you with me? It's going to be a good day. He says, study to show yourself approved of God. Not study to go get a sermon for Sunday. Okay, study is not reading. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. Study is a different level. You see, because he says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And we are, the goodness of God, the goodness of God. Till we out the door, you sit with the same bank balance, the same president, the same old, same old. So you have to taste, but taste leads to something else. You got to literally eat it to live. You taste to see, and you eat to live. Whoa, wait. We can't just read things like that. This comes from the garden. Because in the garden, God said, do not eat, you'll die. They disobeyed and they died. There's only one sin, and that is disobedience. And there's only one cause for that one sin, and that is you don't fear God, meaning respect him. We so easily say, Lord, Lord, Lord. When you say Lord, there is only one word that goes with Lord, and that's yes, Lord. If it's no, Lord, he's not Lord. You are Lord. Come, think back. Now, I'm not thinking back for you. I'm thinking back on my own life. Every time, how many times, don't do it. I'm going to do it. God says, shut up. It's my fight. That's not right. Okay, I want to say to everybody, I had to lose everything to learn that. You don't have to lose everything. But when you dare to say, Lord, so I would suggest if you don't want to step into God's purpose, we'll all close our eyes. Please go. Don't hear this. We're not going to go further with you. If you don't want to step up, don't hear it. Because there's a place where God says, who will come up into the mountain? Not up the mountain, up into the mountain. Because He has prepared a place for us. I saw something before the service. I can't preach it now. He has prepared a place for us. It's a high place in a very low earth. Who will go up into the mountain? He that has clean hands and a pure heart. What's a pure heart? A clean hands. I've confessed my sins because He says, clean your hands, you sinners. Purify your heart, you double-minded. Listen, this is so serious. This is so serious that I want to scream and cry at you. But on the same side, this is the greatest joy. Because on the mountain, you cannot imagine the scenery. You cannot imagine what it is because the Message Bible says, how blessed are those whose lives become the road he travels. Oh my God. Do you understand? Why does He say, come to me if you're burdened. My burden is light. But you see, religion has made it to a point that we don't want it. We don't want it. I don't blame young people to come to church. But I know the greatest outpouring is yet to come. I said it last night. What the eye have not seen, what the ear have not heard, what the eyes have not seen. Can you think of all those healing revivals? They said Spirit Word had more healings than all the healing revivals. Think of what happened on the Jesus Revolution, this movie. Think of all the big things God has done. The best wine is kept for last. I'm climbing a mountain. No, my God, no one's going to get me off this mountain. If I die on this mountain, I die in glory. But I will not get off this mountain because I will not exchange this life for some low living where my emotions are always ruling me. My God, man, get out of it. I think I'm qualified to say it. I don't want to go into my story. My father is one of the old masters. He was the greatest artist in South Africa. Died in my hands. My dad died in my hands. I took my mother home. My mother's got cancer. My husband's dying. My mother phones me while my husband's in an operation dying. My mother dies on the phone while my husband's dying. Do you want to hear more? Can we stop? Will you believe me? Do you know what it took me to realize my God is alive? He died, but He rose. You see, we make this eternity. It's not. The best is yet to come. I think, tell your neighbor, honey, the best is yet to come. If you realize what's coming, man, this mountain walk is nothing. It's like, let me stretch another one. Let me go another one. There's a generation going to wake up. The glory of God is going to fill the earth. I said it last night. Get it. Now we are in the time of Habakkuk 2, where the knowledge of the glory. We all know the knowledge of the glory. My God, it's more than Moses had. Abraham moved. He didn't even know what he was doing. I know what he was doing. I'm his seed. It's in him. They're in the clouds saying, Annalise, go for it, go for it, go for it. But we need to understand our time. He says, study the word, not just read the word. So if we are called according to his purpose, it means his purpose, not your mind, not your imagination. I am like, can we all get out of this? What is my ministry? Just shut up and do something. Okay, sorry, I'm in church. Shut up. Do what your hand finds to do. If you see papers lying around and it irritates you, pick it up. If you see children unbehaving, this is America. Maybe you should get them in line. Take them and go teach the word to them. Forget the older people. They don't want it. Go teach the young people. You know what I do? My Bible basic course, I do it in our school to the children. I teach them the book of Revelation. I teach them all the stuff, and the kids are taking it. Why must they go through all the rubbish we've gone through? Sorry, guys, you haven't got 40 years to understand what I'm understanding. You don't have to go through what we've gone through. There's a generation coming. That's why God said to me, use YouTube. My whole YouTube is a Bible school. And you know what? I'm pleading people to watch it. No, they're too busy. Leave it. There's a generation waking up. I'm sitting in a mall, and this little 13-year-old, two girls, little black girls, came to me. In South Africa, we say black. I don't know if I'm wrong here. And they said, Daddy, are you Tanny Annalise? I'm like, yeah. I said, do you know me from the school? Because we've got a school for 34 years now. They said, have you got a school? I said, how do you know me? They said, we're watching your YouTube. And I'm trying to teach preachers, and they know too much. Okay, I don't know if you must broadcast this one. Cut it out. I'm in India, and I'm in a place just as big as this, and there's like 46 preachers in there with their wives, but it's poor, it's damp, it's the conditions are. But these people have traveled 300-400 kilometers to come and see me, and I'm like, my heart goes out to them. And I said to him, guys, I've got one night with you. If you don't understand, just trust me. Please trust me. But I'm going to open doors for you in the spirit. Just sit and listen. Don't even take notes. Just open your spirit. It will come back to you. And I'm preaching, and here comes with the bodyguards in cameras. I must behave before cameras. You edit it out. Okay, promise me. The shoes, the hair, everybody jumps up, and I'm like, if you're so important. Listen, I've played these games. I'm Kobus van Rensburg's wife. They've all been to our church. And I'm like, if you're so important, why do you come late? Number one. I turned my back on him, and I just went on. And now I'm like, and it's like, whoa. 2 hours later, I came into the room at the back. Here he says, so who are you? I said, I'm Annalise. He says, no. Who are you? I said, I'm Annalise. He says, no, I came to honor the widow of God, the widow of the man of God. I said, yeah, that's me. He says to me, where do you get what you're preaching? I said, in the word. He says, will you teach me? I said, if you shut up. He has 36,000 people in his church. I tell him to shut up. But you guys, when you think you know everything and no one can teach you, come on, guys, the children can teach you if you will just listen. God is speaking all the time. But we have to come to a place where we know God is busy with us and He's taking us somewhere. If we don't, if something doesn't drop today, why would we have the service? Another dancing around the mountain. He says, no, come up the mountain. Purify your heart. Get a clean mind, a single mind, because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Now, I've got news for you. All of you have gone too far to ever enjoy anything outside there. What are you ever going to enjoy in the world? Why don't we go for it? Why can't we stand up and know who we are? Know what God is doing on us and shake this place for God. Every revival, my town has 10,000 people. Our church has 7,000 seats. Can God only do it there? Could God only do it with Quibus? The best is yet to come. Everything in the past up till now is a foreshadow of what's going to fall down. And you know what God said to me? You fool. Do you not understand the patterns in the Bible? Unless it dies, it cannot be quickened. Why? We're holding on to the old. Can I tell you what is your ministry? Can I tell you what's your ministry? You're the remnant. All of us in this place, because of the time we are in. Do you know what a remnant is? The tabernacle had a cloth over, and it had to be folded over in a different way. And every cycle that ever was in time, there was people that came from the old that carried the message through to the next ones, so they don't have to start from the rock bottom. I don't think it's now time to build big churches and be big egos and be apostles and be... We've gone through all that cycles. It's now the next generation, and we need to understand. We have to now not read the word. We have to study to show ourselves approved unto God, because we are called according to his purpose. You know what is calling and predestination? What is chosen? Am I the chosen one? No. It comes out for everybody. I just want to say, this stupid doctrines that's going around that you must now ascend. Where is that in the Bible? Where are we going to ascend to? So I asked someone, okay, if you ascend, what did you see? No, the New Jerusalem. I said, honey, you the Jerusalem. We don't even know who we are, never mind what time is. Okay, I think my introduction is going too long now. Come on, guys. We have to start cutting the word right. We are not here to make doctrines. We are to show ourselves approved of God. How do you show yourself approved of God? You understand this word that was settled in the heavens, and no one is going to change it. You can't add to it. You can't take away from it. For your lifetime, you can think you are, but you're just a fool that will die without the purpose of God. I'm saying it rough, but that's what it is. We cannot change history. But we need to understand the patterns. We need to understand we must handle the word. He says, we are not of them that handle the word deceitfully. I can use the word to get rich. I can use the word to catch any husband. Come on, people do that. I can use the word to create myself a ministry. But that's me. We have to step into what God has. We are called according to his purpose, not our creations, not our imaginations. Yeah, I'm serious. Study to show yourself approved unto God. A workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word. Rightly dividing the word. So if it says here, there's a command going out. Rightly divide the word. In other words, the word is wrongly divided. Okay. What is the word? Let's just look at the word. I just want to read a few things. Now, John 1:1 really brings us to in what is the word. If we go to John 1:1, this is, I don't know where to put this, that maybe, shall we bring this one a little bit forward that people can see it? Okay, can everybody see the board? Amber, you'll have to move. You're not going to see it anyway. Okay, let's look at where are we reading. I'm going to teach you the word. We're going to handle the word on every level. Okay, because there's many levels that you can handle the word. And we can be so busy with the word that we never go into God's purposes, because he says we must hear what the Spirit says. So the normal thing in every church, and it's not bad, it's not altogether bad, but we are wanting to go into his purpose, not me. So when I take the word and I apply it by the Spirit, because he says, hear what the Spirit says to every church. Hear what the Spirit says. So when I read the Bible, I must apply it in the Spirit to my life, because otherwise it's just a history book. So I can read it on that level, or I can apply it. And for those that was there last night, you'll understand. I apply it and apply it and apply it. So it's me. Christ in me. Wow. How can I have a better life? How can I have? But there's another realm where you step into his purpose. Come on. A new commandment I've given you. Oh, it's not new. It's the same, but it's new because it's now in you and in him. In us is the new predestination, and in him is the promises. Oh my God, I wonder if I should quickly do Ephesians 1 with you. I think I've got to go where the Spirit leads us. There's so much I want to preach. Can I have 3 weeks here? Every day from morning to evening. Okay, listen. We are reading in John 1. I never ever read anymore if I do not know what am I busy with. Because I'm not interested in me. I want to step in him. Yeah, but what is this going to do with me? Because my situation, God is not interested in what you can do. He's interested if you will believe what he is going to do. All he needs is someone that really believes what he has. It's not your doing, it's your being. Stop do. I hope you get it. Do is smelly. We have to be. We can't stop doing, but our doing is out of our being, not, you can't be out of your doing. We have this way of changing everything around. What you do is because what you are. Then you won't desire something that you shouldn't, and you always feel guilty and inferior. And listen, have you looked at poor people and rich people? They swallow the same, they go to the loo the same, their eyes work the same, their ears work the same. So what's the difference? It's a mental attitude. Okay, where are we reading? John 1. Come on. I'm going to read to you John 1. He says here, we have to study the word to rightly divide the word. Now, I want to read in John 1:1. John 1:1. John 1:1. In the beginning, not the beginning of time, not the beginning of a world, in the beginning of creation, there was the Word. And the Word was God, and the Word was with God. What is he saying? Come on. The natural man cannot understand the things of the Spirit. Say it. 1 Corinthians 2:14. The natural mind cannot understand the things of the Spirit. But we've already told you that the word is Spirit breathed. So he comes in Romans 8 and he says the carnal mind is enmity with God. So you cannot read a spiritual book with a natural mind and think, okay, whoa, now we're going to go. No, I'm just going to jump around and go as we can flow. So we are going right past the book of Genesis. Okay, whoa. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay, have you got it? Genesis 1:1. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word. So that verse is the first chronological verse in time. It goes beyond. Okay, let's go back. The word is Spirit breathed. The way the word is compiled is by the Spirit. There's a reason for everything. Now, I don't know how to say it, but the Spirit goes like this. Everybody, if I do this, it is Spirit. It means your mind is going to go cuckoos. Is cuckoos a bad word? Oh, your mind cannot understand it. So I'm going to throw a lot of things in that your natural mind cannot understand. So that is why we always think God cannot use us because of our natural minds and our situations and what. Man, there's no limit to what God can do. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is living inside of Annalise from Rensburg. The same light that shone in the beginning that brought creation. Okay. Can I go back? I'm going to go slow. Will you please stop me if you think I'm crazy? Will you please stop me if you think I'm going too fast? I would rather give you less and we go because I'm kicking over doors that's going to change the Bible forever for you. Okay. Do you agree with me? John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. Before he created, he was. Oh, listen to it. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In him was life, and the life was the light. Without him was nothing created that was created. Then he comes in John 1:14, and this Word was made flesh. The same Word that was in the beginning is now come to earth. This Word was made flesh. And Galatians 4:4 tells us, in the fullness of time, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law. Woo! Every one of them you can preach 3 hours on. Every one of them is prophetic fulfillment. Wow. In the fullness of time. Now, listen, we are busy with study to show yourself approved of God, rightly dividing the word. So what are we dividing? What word are we dividing? I'm trying to explain to you what is the word. Oh my God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. what God said is out of the, I'm going to explain something now that will explain the whole Genesis and your creation and the purpose. In Genesis 1, we find the purpose of creation and the purpose of your salvation. In him was life, and the life is the light, and the light shines into darkness, and the darkness comprehend it not, and it settled in the heavens in Genesis 1. Okay, please remember this one. Isaiah 46 verse 10. Hebrews 10 verse 5, 7, 9, and 14 is very important too. But Isaiah 46 says, the end is set from the beginning. The DNA of time. The minute you were born, you had DNA in you that keeps your character, your looks, your everything. And everything you can ever be is in that DNA. Johan, I know his DNA has music in it. I don't know what my DNA has. My DNA has everything in. I can play music and I can do everything. I'm not a musician. I'm a teacher. But Johan's DNA, he can do what he wants to. He'll never get away from music. Do you understand? It's in you. It's that thing that God has placed in you. The end is set from the beginning. What is it else but a guarantee? When you purchase something and it's got a guarantee. So what we have in Genesis 1, the end will be rest. The guarantees of God was set in Genesis 1, but we don't even understand Genesis 1 because we are stuck in the natural mind and there are so many interpretations of the word. There cannot be different interpretations. There can be different angles, but there can only be one God, one Spirit, one word, one purpose. So if your purpose doesn't fit or your doctrine doesn't fit the patterns that is laid down, then your doctrine is wrong and you have to change. But you see, people don't want to change because they don't understand the patterns. I watched this one thing of this AI and she said to the guy, I am cleverer than any human on the planet at the moment because I can form algorithms and patterns which the human brain struggles with. Okay, everything is patterns. You're in cycles. Do you know that? Everyone, we're in cycles. Every morning, every evening, weeks, months, years. It's cycles, patterns. Everybody is, do I say it right? Patterns? Patterns. It's patterns. Everything is patterns. So we need to understand if we want to hear what the Spirit says, we must speak the Spirit language. As jy nie die geestaal verstaan nie, dan sit jy vir my en kyk soos wat julle nou vir my kyk en jy gaan nooit weet wat ek sê nie. En ek is so jammer vir julle, maar ek gaan nooit vir julle sê wat ek nou sê nie. And if you want to know what I just said, go find someone Afrikaans because I'm not going to tell you. Whoa, this is shocking. In other words, this is how we read the Bible. If we have to hear what the Spirit says, and the Spirit has a certain language. So I'm gonna preach everything like this. So I'm not gonna categorize it, but I'm gonna jump from this to that to this to that. I want to get to you. Why is there so many interpretations of Revelation? Why is there so many interpretations of Genesis? Anybody got a Bible here or a book? If you take the Bible, it's okay. It's okay. Can you see this book has 2 covers? If it wasn't for these covers, what do you think would happen to these pages? Oh, remember I told you? The Spirit moved, people wrote down, but the Spirit moved and people combined the Bible. Why didn't they put it chronologically? It was spirit moved. So Genesis is a spirit book. Revelation is a spirit book. They both visions. They both dreams. And what I said in Afrikaans is, if you don't understand what I'm saying, or you don't understand the spirit language, you will read the Bible and you will sit and look at me like you look now and you won't know what you're reading. That's scary, guys. Never mind scary. He says the natural mind is enmity with God. But you know what? I am so thrilled that God is now opening, and we are living in a time because, listen to this, as time goes, revelation grows. Everybody say, as time goes, revelation grows. So this is why I'm like, we're going to have the greatest time ever. So I'm going back. Study to show yourself approved. Rightly dividing the word. Now I'm still trying to find out what word must we divide. So I've been telling you, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What happened there? Out of the bosom, Jesus says, I came from the bosom of the Father. And from the bosom of the Father, the Spirit came. And it was a spirit word. Because he said, let there be, let there be. And from him came creation. Okay, whoa. Actually, his bride. Because we have the picture in Adam. His bride came from his side. Come on. Came from him. We did not come from the Spirit. The Spirit and the Father said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. And we come from the bosom of the Father. That's why Jesus is not ashamed to call us brethren. Do you actually understand who you are? Okay, so now the whole of the Old Testament was a preparation, because, how am I going to get this? Let's go back. Let's go back. I need some water now. Are you guys with me? You understand my accent, everything, except my Afrikaans? How can you read the Bible and not understand it? I was in Bible school and they told us to stay away from Revelation. It's going to confuse us. No, you don't tell me don't jump off there. I'm going to jump off there, and I did. I think I've been through Revelation 2,000 times. If you know what's good for you, get me for 3 days and I'll teach you Revelation. It's all on my YouTube, but it's nice if you have the person with you. But it's like, I can't go into any church and preach Revelation because I'll smash up the church. I'm going to tell the people that their pastor doesn't know anything, because everybody is not humble as he is. And when I'm gone, he can't answer the questions. We have to, listen, I preach in Amsterdam, they invited me. I preached 16 hours in 3 days. Just Revelation. Revelation, oh my God, we're going to get there. Okay, well. I have mentioned the book of John. Now, I just want to bring you to Revelation was written here. This is where Revelation was written. This is where Genesis was written. Whew, Genesis. Forget about Revelation. Genesis sets all the patterns and laws and principles. Guys, we can understand God's purposes. God's purposes is revealed in the volume of the book. So when is Genesis written? 2,500 years. 2,500 years after Adam. Genesis tells us about the beginning of creation. Adam, guys, I cannot draw three-dimensional. You've got to stay with me now. This is very serious. Adam was born or created on day 6. Oh my God, what's going on here? Maybe I should preach what I want to preach this afternoon. Why was Genesis written? All have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. Moses is the first time on the mountain, face to face with God. This is this afternoon service, tonight's service. He says, show me your glory. And when he said, show me your glory, he says, your presence. He says, God said, my goodness will pass by you. He was lifted up in the spirit in a vision, and he saw creation from the beginning to the end. Day 1, it was good. Day 2, it was good. Day 3, it was good. The goodness of God passed him by, and the end was rest. This is where he wrote, day 1, it was good. Evening, morning, day. Pattern. Evening, morning, day. Pattern. Evening, morning, day. All the patterns of time was laid down in Genesis 1. It was good. It was good. It was good. It doesn't matter how bad it is on earth. The goodness of God is greater than any badness. But then he goes to Adam, and he made him from the bosom of the Father. But he was formed out of dust. He says, do not eat. Oh, the fruit of the tree will be your meat. Do not eat that. How can fruit be meat? Spirit language. Spirit language, totally spirit language. Because Jesus came and he said, my meat is to do the will of the Father, not my will, your will. He says, I can't teach you about Melchizedek because you're on milk. Strong meat is for those that understand what God has done. They understand righteousness. They have their senses exercised between good and evil. What tree did they eat of? Good and evil. It's trees. He said, do not eat. In that day, you will die. Whoa. Guys, we're busy with a spiritual book. Adam ate, and the day of death broke out. Or we call it the detour of knowledge. But we have to go back to Genesis to even understand what I'm saying. Because what man did is, this is the summary of the whole Bible. Adam fell from light into darkness. And now God came into darkness. The Spirit came upon him. And then the body was nailed. So that the Spirit come on us, so that light in us can grow. Come on. Light life became blood life. Now, his blood was offered so that light can grow in us, that this blood will turn back to light life. Okay, whoa, now we've got to go back to Genesis. Whoa. Let's start by the one. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And the earth was dark and void. And the Spirit hovered over the waters. The Spirit hovered over the waters. Why? The Spirit is the creative one. He hovered over the waters. And he said, let there be light. In him was life, and the life was the light. In him was life. So what he did is he poured himself into creation. And it was day one. And he called, are you ready? Please tie your seatbelts. The turbulence is really, we're going to hit a storm now. I don't want you to fall off your chair or... If you now stand up and go out and go drink water, I know you haven't got your seatbelt on. On day one, okay, let's go again, just to help you. Guys, it's going to be turbulent. Spirit, get out of natural zone now. Because if you can understand what I'm going to say now, it's going to change the whole world for you. On day one, he created light day. On day one, he said, let there be light. And he divided, come on, light from darkness, and he called light day. How can I, for 45 years, not realize there's a day one and a light day? It's like we never read the Bible. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, what? And then I started making a study on days. So in my life, a day is 24 hours. Would you please get out of your mind? Because a day in the spirit doesn't mean 24 hours. So my sister wrote a book on my father. And he had a big painting on muscle pickers. And he called these paintings names. And he called this painting, It Was a Good Day. And my sister wrote it over the book. I looked at that book and I nearly crashed. Because when I saw it was a good day, I saw my father taking me fishing before school. I saw him making my go-karts. I know everything I am because of my dad. He showed me everything. We were always looking at the stars. He was always pushing me down everything. And I saw him bringing me in when I got married. I saw my dad holding my children like this. In a second, I saw a day. The day of Adrian Boshoff. Okay, whoa. Now, if we want to hear what the Spirit says, we have to first go, before we even start studying Genesis, we have to get numbers. Because day one, light day, what's all this? Because 2 Peter 3 says, one day with God is, oh, you know that. But now 1,000 is not 1,000 in the Bible. And this is where the mess come up in Revelation. 1,000 is literally 10 times 10 times 10. Because we have to first, please, can we quickly look at the spirit language? It's numbers, colors, patterns, and symbols. Now, I've got nice pictures. Can I send it to you and you can give it to your group? I've actually got pictures on all these things that I can give you flash drives, but I've given so much away and it cost me so much. I need to be refilled. So, 1 means God. 2 means agreement. 3 is the Trinity, the fullness of God. 4 is God becoming a man. That's why he's the 4th man. That's why Jesus came on the 4th day. That's why he's the 4th man in the fiery furnace. Everything about earth is 4. Everything about God is 3. When you have 4 and 3, it literally means God working in time. That's why 7 times around Jericho. Go wash you 7 times. Come on. Come on, look at the dreams. Egypt, 7 cows, 7 grains. 7. Revelation, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 vials, 7 eyes, 7 candlesticks, 7. God is working in time. If you read 7, it's like, whoa. Okay? Come on, I'm going to set you free. What I said to you last night. Israel wanted a king. They were sent to Babylon for 70 years. 10 is complete. 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10. 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10. I'm gonna throw you in the river. You just have to swim. So Paul comes, he says, I pray that the eyes of your understanding might be opened. Where was it closed? The minute Adam ate. He says, I pray that the eyes of your understanding will be opened, that you will know the length, the breadth, and the height. A cube. A cube is perfection. It's a spirit language. The inner court, the Holy of Holies, was a cube, exactly a cube. The city set on a hill is a cube. Perfection, it means perfection. Can I give something very rough to you, or are you gonna? I haven't given you the background on it, and I'm like, I don't know if I should. Should we first go on? 1,000 does not mean millennium. You cannot change spirit words and think you're going to be stepping into the purpose of God. You are messing up your mind if you change words in the Bible. Because Isaiah 34 verse 16 says, seek out the book. Find its mates. Listen, it says we must study to show ourselves approved. How do you study to show yourself approved? You take Genesis and read it from Genesis to Revelation. Say, I've read the Bible. You have not read the Word. You've read a book. You've read a history book. But when you find river, if you see, here is foreshadowing, fulfilling. Oh my God, what is God doing? Come on, the Revelation. Genesis is a garden. Revelation is a garden. We're back in the garden, man. Do you get it? You can't separate these things. You cannot even touch Revelation if you don't know Daniel. You want to be confused? Go on. But you know, there's people that have gone before us. You don't have to take 40 years to find it out. I've just gone through the whole of Revelation last night again because it's pudding. I told you this mountain life, it's maybe hard climbing and it's maybe alone. Woo, but it's a nice place. You're like above the clouds. You can see what happened to those guys around the mountain. I'm not coming around the mountain. When I come, I'm up on the mountain. Come on, guys. I'm not going to show it to you. I'll get it to you later. If you change words in the Bible, you miss the spirit language totally. When you study the word, go back to words that is the same. Like every time he says, who will come up into the mountain? You can't take into out because it's a spiritual place. But the natural mind, this is not right. It's right. It's right. Yeah. Okay. 8 is a new beginning. How many people came through the ark? Oh. Do you understand? So everything happening in Genesis, we're busy with Genesis, is the DNA or the blueprint of time. And the end will be rest. Adam fell short of the glory. But Hebrews now is written here. It says, do not fall short of the rest. Because we have no idea what God even did for us on the cross. He actually came and he said, I am the Lord of the Sabbath. This is why we don't keep the Sabbath. We must go into Him, but you can't get into Him with your own mind. Let's go back to Genesis. Day 1. On day 1, He created light day, and He called light a day. Now, I just want to say here, light day is a realm. Day 1 is a perfect period. Spirit, in time, 1 day is 1,000 years. Spirit, in time, 1 day is 1,000 years. But in perfection, 1,000 means a perfect period. 1,000 years is a perfect period. 1,000 years is a perfect period. Please remember that when we get to Revelation, because the Bible never says there's 1,000 years of peace reign. It's not in the Bible. It doesn't say a millennium. Why do we put it there? The natural mind is enmity with God. It brings deception. Can I throw it in? I'm going to throw it in. Satan is bound. I'm going to kick all your theology over now. I'm so sorry if you didn't tie your seatbelt. I did warn you. Satan is bound 1,000 years. For a short season. And then, when he's let open, when he's let loose, the 1,000 years is over, and it's the first resurrection. When was the first resurrection? Okay, if you're going to let me preach on after this, I really think you guys are good. When was the first resurrection? Jesus was the only begotten, and then He became the first begotten because He was the first fruits that rose from the dead. It's here. When was Satan bound? When Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." And Satan could not kill the Christ. What was his job on earth? To kill. He could not kill the Christ. He was bound for a perfect time. 1,000 years. Because when the 1,000 years is finished, it's the first resurrection. And the whole church world and everybody that preaches apocalypse. Listen, revelation means opening, not closing, not danger. Don't read Revelation. I fear Revelation. The 3rd verse in Revelation says there's a blessing if you read it. They warned me of it. Can I just, now that we're on Revelation, what happened here? Oh my God. I'm preaching two around. Now I've got to go for it. God's Spirit was hovering over the water. When Adam fell, his spirit was still hovering. Then he comes in Genesis 6 and he says, "My spirit cannot forever strive with man." My spirit cannot forever strive with man. I'm going to start over and I'm going to create a world where the spirit can come into man. Okay, how can a God of love destroy a whole generation of people and they go to hell? Because God has a purpose. He's going after creation. And all the history that we read from Adam up till Christ was for this purpose. If you do not understand that Jesus Christ brought reformation, Jesus Christ brought reformation, not Martin Luther. The whole church world believes Martin Luther brought reformation. Oh, sorry, not the whole church world. I don't believe it. We don't understand the times and the seasons because we don't understand Genesis, we don't understand Revelation. My God, Genesis and Revelation holds the purposes of God in spirit language. Come on, guys. Is it rough? If you say no, you lie. It's rough, but if you can stick through this. I think I'm going to finish first with Genesis. And then we'll go back into the plan of God, okay? But this is going to be on the board, and I've got so many pictures and so many stuff. Listen, I don't expect you to get even 10% of what I'm preaching. If you get 10% of what I'm preaching, I'm very proud of you. Because it took me 2,000 times to go through the book of Revelation to even understand what I'm saying. How can I give it to you in an hour? I'm preaching, everybody tells me, you're giving too much. Okay, guys, if I give you small again, we're back in, I've got to come and what I'm doing, I'm pushing you in a river. Listen, if you feel you're drowning, just go on your back and breathe. Move your hands, you'll get somewhere. It's time that we swim because Ezekiel saw a river. He says it's ankle deep, knee deep, thigh deep, shoulder deep. We have to start swimming. I have not even touched on times and seasons. Let's go back to Genesis. Shall we now? Do you understand? I'm gonna change your world forever today. Not me, God. God. It's His word. It's been in the Bible 2,000 years. It's time we get it. May I get to Melchizedek tomorrow? Okay, listen. What did He do? I'm going to go through it, the creation. Day 1, He said, let there be light. Day 2, what did He say? Divide water from water. And He calls this heaven. Woo, wait. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool, says Isaiah. Heaven and earth were co-created for a purpose. Heaven is not God's dwelling. They taught me wrong. Heaven is not God's dwelling. He's above it. In the beginning was God. Before He created it, it's not His dwelling. His dwelling, He rides the heavens. Come on. He's from the excellent glory. When He anointed the Christ, He says, the voice came from the excellent glory. We bring God down to a bird. No. God is God. God is God. I will tell you why I am so annoyed with that. Listen, God, if we can understand who this God is, we're going to have our fear and reverence back to God. And it's so easy to climb the mountain because I know God is in control and He knows what He's doing. And if I can step into that, my children will see the glory of God. They can run where they want to. God is bigger than children. He's bigger than governments. God is bigger than any trouble. Oh, my situation. Guys, switch the light on. We're fighting darkness. How are you going to fight darkness? Switch the light on. I'm switching your light on, but I've got to rewire you. And I've got only one day to do it. What did He do on day 2? He separated water from water. Water provision. Everybody say water is provision. Okay, can you see there's water and water? Day 3, he separated land from sea, and he made vegetation, plants. There was no sun. Do you know any plants outside need the sun? Okay, a day. How is your days measured? By the sun and the moon and the stars. We are already at day 3. Day 4, he made day 4. Day 4, he made the sun and the moon and the stars, which forms our days. So days are not our days. This sun was not the light in perfection. This is fallen creation. I know we think it's eternity. I've got news for you. This is not eternity. I don't care how rich they think they are. But if I got Christ in me, I'm richer than the richest guy on the planet, because what I carry is eternal. We'll pay thousands and thousands for our cars, but our children that has eternal souls, we will let them just be taught by anybody. No. Everything I'm doing is I'm saving children all the time. You touch a child. You know who's the most important in this place? This little girl. I'm doing what I'm doing, that one day maybe she'll remember my face. Come on, guys. We have the children out all the time. Get them disciplined. Let them hear the word. Take someone, teach the children these things. Okay. Day 4, what did he make? Sun, moon, and stars. Oh, this is where days are created. Okay. Spirit. Everybody say spirit language. Get your mind out of the way. Now, day 5, what did he make? He filled the sea, fishes, and birds. Day 6, he made cows for India and humans. And day 7, he rested. Okay, that stupid AI says we are stupid because we cannot form patterns. That AI does not even know. I'm so sorry for them, but they are fed with darkness, and darkness is a realm of self-destruction. They're not going to destroy us. God is not fallen off the throne because people have now created AIs. Come on, do you get what I'm saying? Let's get the pattern. Light, water, land. Everybody say, light, water, land. Preparation. Light, water, land, filling. Rest. I feel it coming through now. Do you get it? Light, water, land, preparation, light, water, land, filling. And it says, evening, morning, day, 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 evening, morning, day. What is the pattern? Evening, morning, day, for every day. Then he says to Adam, do not eat. In that day, you'll die. He ate. What happened? Did he die? They didn't die. They took 1,000 years to die. He died in that day. But what he did, through one man's sin, sin came to all. So now we're in a week of death. We're in the day of death. The day has 7 periods of time. But the day also have an evening, a morning, and the day. Because Jesus came in and he said, the people that sat in darkness saw a great light. Hosea 6, I can't read it without crying. He will come to us like the morning. It is new every morning. Since Christ came in, it's been morning every morning. But it also announced the day. Today, if you hear his voice, the minute you hear his voice, you step into his day. My day started 2,000 years after Jesus brought the day. Spirit, times. We have to understand times. Okay, now, can I really mess you up? I think we're ready to go there now. Go with me to Genesis 1 verse 14, because in Genesis 1 verse 14, this is where God created our days. Come on. He made day 4. On day 4, he made our days. Can I say it again? Blueprint of time. You cannot read it in the natural. Are you ready? Nobody's fallen off the chairs yet. I watched the news this morning. In Korea, on one of the flights, the stupid guy opened the door in the middle of the flight. And they landed, everybody was saved. So, did you see anybody open the door wanting to jump out? Stop it. Lock the doors, please. Are you with me? Now, on day 1, he created, let there be light, and it was good. Day 2, he separated water from water, it was good. Day 3, he made plants, there was no sun. Day 4, he's now going to create the sun. Yeah. Spirit. Are you ready? I'm in Genesis 14. Let me get to Genesis 1 verse 14. Are you there? And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide day from night. Okay, what is dividing our days and nights? The sun and the moon. And what is dividing? And there's 2 lights in heaven, the Father and the Son. And let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. Signs, seasons, days, and years. Let them be, divide day and night, and, so we don't read and let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. What is these seasons? What is these seasons? Are you with me? We are now talking about he created the sun and the moon that would be for our days. And he says signs, seasons, days, and years. You've got to stick with me now. I'm going to read you a scripture that I literally screamed at God. Why did nobody ever read this to me or taught this to me in 45 years? We are the most favorite generation that ever lived on the place. Come on, guys. Genesis 2 verse 1. The 7th day he rested, he blessed it, he rested, he blessed it for 3 verses. Then verse 4. Are you ready? These, Genesis 1 is just passed, are the generations of the heavens when they were created in a day. When the Lord made the heavens. and the earth. Don't let your natural mind go in. Tell your natural mind, shut up. Guys, I'm going to give it to you in 5 minutes. I read it for 2 years before I got it. These are the generations of the heavens when they were created in a day. In a day. God is almighty. He's not bound to time. This is the day of creation. This is the day of death. All these, nobody knows how many years. It could be billions of years. It could be trillions of years. Who cares? It was perfect times. Because now we have Christians fighting science. How can the earth be created in 6 days when our solar system takes 300 million years to go around the Milky Way? Now, I have been through all those guys because I'm a nature freak. My children call me Animal Planet. I want to know everything. I know everything that goes on. I watch everything. I'm on it. I even had a fight with the AI the other night. Yeah, I asked him, what's Lucifer? Who's Lucifer? He tells me, oh, it's Satan. I said, no. Go read Isaiah. It says it's the king of Babylon. He says, yeah, but it's the general assumption. I said, but the Bible says we are not to make personal interpretations of the word. And I'm on this guy. I thought, let's feed the thing the right thing. Eventually he said to me, your conversation was very enlightening. I said, yeah, I know, it's the truth. Come on, guys, we are the light in darkness. Oh, do you know what they're doing? Let them do it. Let them do it. We're going to go back. You know what? I will not be surprised if I get translated and I'm like, Mr. Biden, stop your nonsense. Bye. Why not? Oh, no, it can't happen. Why not? Why is it in the Bible? Why is it in the Bible? Guys, I've seen all of this. The best is yet to come. How are we going to do it? How are we going to reach those people unless we just appear? I'm ready. You got my number. Come on. I'm expecting. I don't know about you. I'm not pregnant. I'm expecting. I'm going to see the greatest day yet. Oh, come on, man. Okay, here is the day of creation with 7 perfect periods. Nobody knows how long they were. It's periods. It's amazing that the diggings come up in exactly that order. This explains how dinosaurs and everything was there. Because they weren't there from Adam. Don't tell me that it's not in the Bible. Come on, it comes from that period. And they can still, if Adam came through, they can come through because, are you holding your seats? Are you holding your seats? I'm going to throw you something now that I didn't explain. But it's in the Bible. You should have known it. Jeremiah, Ezekiel, he says, Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, these big guys are trees of the Lebanon that comes from the garden of God. I tried to explain it yesterday. Okay, now I've got to go. No, I'm not going to go there. When the flood was over, they tried to rebuild the tower. Where? In the land of Shinar, where the garden manifested. We will reach God. They tried to restore. I hope this time that I can explain to you the drying of the Euphrates. Because they tried to restore the garden. God says, no. My glory is not going to fill just a section of the world. My glory is going to be all over the earth. Okay. Can we go back to Genesis? I think you need to tell me, stay on course. Okay. These are the generations of the heavens when they were created in a day. But Genesis 1 says, in the beginning, he created the heaven and the earth. Now he talks about heavens. Whoa, whoa, whoa. On day 2, he separated water from water, and he called the firmament heaven. On day 4, he put a firmament on heaven, not there, and he created the sun, moon, and star, and he calls this heaven. How many heavens are there? 3 heavens. And seasons and generations. How many genealogy lines is in the Bible? The genealogy of Adam, the genealogy of Noah, the genealogy of Abraham, and the genealogy of Jesus Christ. There's 4 generations. Everything about earthly is 4. Everything about God is 3. God's math is mwah. Do you get it? What is a world? Because 2 Peter 3 comes in. 2 Peter 3 is another scripture that you must put with this. You have to go study it. These people are crazy. Come, let's go there. They've always been confused. Don't worry, it's not just us. I'm going to read it to you and you can understand what I'm saying. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you both, which to stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that you be mindful of the words which were spoken by the holy prophets and the commandment of us apostles and the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, when I read like that, it's like, whoa, where does the prophets come in? The prophets start speaking here because when they wanted a king, Moses was a prophet. Samuel was a prophet. Then all the prophets came in here. Some were during the Babylonian captivity, some were there, and then there were 400 years silence. Okay? Where was the apostles? The apostles was here. Okay? And they all died. Only one came through, John. He wrote the book of Revelation. Man, Revelation is my food. Can I not stay here another week and preach Revelation to you? Okay, let's go on. That you may be mindful of the words. Okay, knowing this first, they shall come in the last days scoffers. I preached it last night. Jesus was with Mary and Martha, and she says, I know we will be raised up in the last day. He's talking about the last days. This spirit language, there's a difference. In Hebrews 1, he says, in these last days, Jesus, we are spoken to through Jesus. So what is the Bible dealing with? It's dealing with the last days of the law, not us, because the church is a world without end. Glory be to God in the church, a world without end. Everybody say it. Glory be to God in the church, a world without end. That's Ephesians 3:21. So when the Bible talks about the world that is ending, honey, it's their world, it's not mine. I wish they would end and go there. We can get the earth right. Okay, sorry for that one. He says, knowing that they will come in the last days, scoffers. What was the last days? It was the last days of the law world. And they are saying, are you ready for this? They've got the same dilemmas that we have, but they were more confused as we are. Where is the promise of his coming? When is he coming? I wish I can preach on the coming of the Lord. For since the fathers fell asleep. Who is the fathers? Not Adam, not Noah. Who was the first father? Abraham. So we have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. This is the foundation of this world that was to bring forth the Christ. Okay. I'm busy teaching you worlds. Because Abraham was the father of faith. Isaac, the promised son. Jacob, I can never understand why Jesus says he loves Jacob's tents more than the rest. Jacob was a jerk. I don't want him. You know why God loves him more? He represents us, the redeemed son. Joseph, the manifest son. And then we have Moses, the builder of the house. And he said, there will come a prophet like me. Listen to him, Christ. Christ says, break down this house because this house is now infiltrated with serpent seed. He said, you serpent seed, you vipers. Do you understand? We've got to get the lines in the Bible right. Now he says here, where is the promise of you coming? Since the fathers fell asleep, this is the fathers. All things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. You think you're confused. This confusion has always been. They say since they fell asleep, everything is the same since beginning of creation. Look what he says here. For they are willingly ignorant, because they're religious, that by the word of God the heavens were of old. God said, let there be heaven and earth. Okay? Come closer. The word of God, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of water and in water, whereby the world then was being overflowed of water. He says these people are stupid. They have forgotten that there was a flood and the world came out of water. This is so important, these lines. He says, but the heavens and the earth, which is now, please, everybody say heavens and earth. Heavens, please read. Heavens and earth forms a world. Heaven and earth form a world there. The next world formed was when heaven was in agreement with earth. Heaven was not in agreement with Noah. Every time heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. When heaven and earth agrees, a world is formed. There's a world before the flood. This world doesn't count. There's a world there and there's a world there. So there's 4 generations, but 3 worlds. Because this is the blueprint of time. God said, let there be light. And he started again. The fall was the beginning of time. Time. Does that look like a clock? It's a clock. Then God said, let there be light. It coincided with the flood. And God had to start with man in his fallen condition. He wanted to bring in a world that would prepare a body in which the Spirit can indwell. This is why there was a flood. What did Noah's people do? They went down to Babel and built a tower. This was the seed of Satan's body. Come on. There will be enmity between your seed and the woman's seed from the beginning. All of this was a battle for seed. The Bible is only the seed line of Christ described and the battle that was involved. There was other nations. You don't read it there. It's just where the seed line is involved. It was a battle vital for seed. The purpose for seed is a body. The purposeful body is the spirit. So the body came. This was a shadow of the good things to come. But the body was now nailed to the cross. Who did it? They did it because they were infiltrated with Satan's seed. Why? They wanted a king. And the dove left. Oh God, please. When Noah came out the flood, can we go back? This whole period from there to there is also one period in time. You got to get the fullness, the volume of the book. Noah left. A raven, a dove with an olive branch, and a dove that didn't return. Noah was the raven generation. Abraham had the dove generation. David, he says, I'm the one with the olive branch. On him you see the dove come and stay. Patterns. The volume of the book, it's patterns. And all of that was so that we can sit here and learn the Bible. All these people worked for us. The Bible says they're all waiting for us to discover what is really going on. Come on. This was a time where a body was being prepared. So they tried to build a tower. God said, no, shut up. This was the seed of Babel because nations started here. Nations. And every one of them became a king. God said to Abraham, move, come out of them. Come out of them. What did Abraham went to do? He went looking for a city whose builder and maker is God. He was looking for us. Jesus came and he said, know you not, you are the city set on a hill. Not one of them were perfect yet. Revelation, he says, come, I'll show you the bride. A city set on a hill. Oh my God. Now you want to go back to the temple in Jerusalem. Get out of your mind. Get into the spirit. What is God busy doing? Oh my word, there's so many lines here that we must understand. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? Now, Abraham was called out of that and he went looking. But his generation, in Abraham, a world formed. Abraham correlates with day 2. Do you know how difficult is this to preach to you? Because I know I'm jamming all your traditions. Everything we've ever learned is being smashed up. I'm called for it. Don't worry. Go with me to Genesis 17:7. I want you to read it. If you haven't got it, I'll read it for you. I'm going to read it. This is the calling of Abraham. Can you hear it? I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generation for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, okay? And, everybody say and. To thy seed after you. Whoa, get it. Can I read it again? I will establish my covenant between me and you and in your generation and in your seed. On day 2, there was a split in provision, water. And Abraham's covenant went in the generation and in the spirit. Because you pick it up in Matthew 1. Jesus, son of David, son of Abraham, son of God. And then he goes back. He begat. Then he goes back again and he says, there's 14 generations there, 14 generations there, from David to Babylon and 14 generations there, and the Bible doesn't talk the truth. There's only 13. I counted it 100 times till I realized we are the 14th generation, the complete generation on earth. You are the chosen generation. So that generation forms a world, this generation forms a world, and his generation forms a world. David's generation didn't form a world. There was no genealogy for him because Christ is the son of David. Can I preach that tonight? These things go like this. All of the whole volume of the book. Do you understand? If I preach one portion to you, you're not going to get the volume of the book. I know, who said it last night? It's like eating from a fire hose. Well, just open your mouth, close your eyes, and swallow. I don't know what to say. I am kicking open a door that you can never go back because you'll never read the Bible the same again. Everything has to do with everything. So these people said, we want a king, like all the nations around them. And the dove left. The dove left. And they got kings. And now this system was taken to Babylon for 70 years, which marked the beginning of their end. And it went down, down, down. Jesus came and visited them. They crucified their king. Pilate said, shall I crucify your king? They screamed at him, we have no king but Caesar. They were the ones asking for a king. And they screamed, let his blood come on us. Daniel saw all this. And God said, seal it, Daniel, seal it. It will be upon the people, upon the city, and upon the temple. Revelation picks it up as seals, trumpets, and vials. Because Christ brought the kingdom. But Hebrews 9 says, no one can enter while the old is still functioning. Come on, Matthew 23. They sit in Moses' seat and they took it beyond while they crucified the Christ. On the other side of the town, they crucified 300,000 lambs the same time. They said, crucify him. We have no king but Caesar. So here he returned as the Son of Man. The Son of Man, a Purusha lightning to finish what he started on the cross because the winepress had to be trodden in order for the kingdom to come. Revelation is the bridge to the opening of the kingdom so we can grow in the kingdom. Because of wrong lines and 1,000 years that people don't understand. They're looking for the 1,000 years here. But the kingdom is not written down in the Bible. You know that. It just foreshadows it and tells you what the kingdom is like. The history is not written down. Revelation, all the apostles died. Listen, guys, this was the worst time ever in history, and a whole New Testament was written there because here a whole generation of babies was crucified, murdered. Here a whole generation of babies was murdered, and here he tried to kill the infant church. But this was the final judgment. Can I do it? Can I do it? It's not right for me to do it, but I like doing it. Because it took me years to get it. My book on immortality, get it. There's a chapter on the judgments, the 4 judgments. This is the judgments of the kingdoms started here because Babylon was the biggest kingdom. Go read the prophets. He says in Isaiah 9:10, 10:11, he says, all the trees are now chopped down. This man is Babylon, because it's Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, and Rome. Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, and Rome. It's a timeline, or it's also the kingdoms of the world. You can't separate these stories. You can't separate. Remember when he went to Daniel, in Daniel 2, the dream. There was the statue, and a rock was cut loose from the mountain. Where was that rock cut loose? When he wrote Genesis, God said to him, there's a place beside me on the rock. The rock will hit the statue, and it will become a great mountain that fills the earth. The third temptation, he took him in an instant and showed him the kingdoms of the world. Why? Because the battle was about to take place. And the battle is between the seed of Satan and the seed of the woman. What is the seed of the woman? Jesus. What is the body of Satan? Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, and Rome. The kingdoms of the world. You see, you can't separate these things. It's all one story. Are your brains frying? Why don't you stop me? I don't know what stop is. I'll go until tomorrow morning. Let me find a landing place. How late is it?
It's 5:23. We go till 6. So yeah, go land it, and we're good. Whenever you're ready to land it. Which is not.
Hear what I'm saying? The whole book of Revelation took place in the time of Rome, the strength of the vision that came from Babylon. The minute they crucified the Christ, they could see from Babylon to 70 AD. The minute he said, show me your glory, God showed him from there to there. It's all set. The word of God is set in the heavens. The word of God is a light unto a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. What path? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. The way, the truth, and the life. He says in Revelation, he says, he, the faithful witness, who was, who is, and who is to come. Who was? It was the law and the prophets. The is the Father and the Son. That's the perfect time on earth. The is to come is the Spirit and the bride. Annalise, how do you know you're right? It fits the patterns. If your doctrine doesn't fit the patterns, it's wrong. They've made timelines that doesn't fit the patterns, because the whole rapture doctrine teaching is looking for a 2,000-year gap in the statue, and there is no gap. It's a gap theory. So how am I ever going to get to you and explain to you the whole book of Revelation? You can ask me anything on the book of Revelation. I can preach every verse to you. It's opened. Revelation is who will open the seals? The Lion out of the tribe of Judah, because the battle was between the head of Babylon was a lion. He became the white horse of Revelation 19, the Word. No man can know his name. And then he says his name is the Word. Man means natural man. But the spiritual man can know the Word. So listen, what am I doing? I'm rightly dividing the word. How did we wrongly divide the word? We divide the church. God divided himself in his spirit, and he gave gifts unto men. And we use the gifts to divide the body. God meant it to unite us. We are not to divide the living word. I don't care what they preach, what. You love Jesus? Come on. We're going to all grow. If you want to go around 10,000 cycles, I'm not. I'm going for it. How do we rightly divide? We can't rightly divide the spirit word. Why do we divide the spirit and the word? You know, churches do that. We are so carried away in the Spirit, but we're not founded in the Word. This is why people have all these funny doctrines that is not founded in the Word. They create doctrines with their imagination, but it's not founded in the Word. If you understand what this is, come on, where I was, this is the judgment of the world. Now I'm going to kick open a door that I cannot explain, but you will get it. Go, it's all on my YouTube. You can ask me, all of you can have my telephone number. You can ask me anything, anytime. I don't cook and I'm not married. So I'm lying at night and I'm answering everybody's questions. It's meant to keep you busy. Well, I was busy. I'm not. I'm on a mountain. You know, you cannot take anybody, but you pave a way for others to come. If you're hungry, you're welcome. You're welcome. But I'm not getting down this mountain. Listen, this is the judgment of nations. This is the judgment of sin. This is the judgment of the world. Why? He that ascended is he that descended. And he opened the prison doors. Who closed it? Listen, Cain killed Abel. God said to him, don't open that door. He opened that door. But he became the door to death. But Jesus is the door to life. Job says, do you understand that death has doors and hell has gates? He opened the doors. Now, please listen to what I'm saying now. This is the time of reformation. Heaven, earth, and under the earth. Reformed. Changed. On this side, heaven was closed for earth. On this side, heaven is open on earth. On this side, it's a shadow of death. On this side, it's the second death, eternal lake of fire. Why? Because all these people had to wait for judgment. How does the God of love harden Pharaoh's heart and he goes to hell for this purpose? Because here he said, come Pharaoh, this is why I hardened your heart. You've got an opportunity to receive the gospel. Come on. It was a shadow of death. Now the people are messed up. They say, oh, there is no hell. No, you don't understand hell and heaven. You don't understand where the devil is. Now we're fighting the devil. Who do you think you're big enough for the devil? Jesus did it for us. But he was cast out of heaven and he had a short time. This is the judgment of the world. He's already in the eternal lake of fire, which is called the second death, Revelation 20. What are we fighting? Principalities, powers, wickedness in high places, meaning governments and demons. And what do? They darkness. They on a road of self-destruction. Stop worrying about them. Shine your light. They're going to destroy themselves. Oh, the AIs are going to destroy us. No, they're going to destroy themselves. If we can shine our light, they can have a time. They can have an opportunity to see the light. That's why we are alive. But we are running around the mountain. Guys, who will go up the mountain? Who will step into the purposes of God? And why do we have the word if we don't know the word? Yeah, but nobody taught us. Well, we have the Spirit. You know what I did? I literally, I didn't want to live anymore. And I didn't know what to do. And I decided, one night I was sitting and I'm like, God, I don't know. I can't explain to anybody what my life is like. And I remembered, just like this, a flash came before me, how my husband kissed the Bible. And I'm like, I remember the night. I said, kiss the Bible. I'm here. Kiss me. And I realized, 32 years, I've seen more miracles. I've fallen down in the Spirit more than anybody can think. I've seen things. I've raised my husband how many times from dead? raising the dead in our church was nothing. I've never kissed the Bible. So after your experience with the Spirit, why are you not founded? Because we separate the Spirit and the Word. You're not allowed to separate the Spirit and the Word. The Spirit and the Word goes together. We are to separate and divide the written Word. Why? To find the purposes of God. Why? So we can step into our calling. What is our calling? The glory of God must fill the earth. Who's going to do it? Who, me? Yes, you. Could it be? Why not? Your situation. Get out of your situation. This is why Jesus came into this realm. Guys, we are stuck in our minds. Yeah, but you know what happened to me? I was raped when I was 6 years old. Well, you are 15 now. Get over it. In Christ, you're a new creature. He restores you. I've never drank. I've never whored. I don't know what drugs look like. I don't like drinking. I don't even like the taste of wine. And I had to decide, my past is just good. Do you know where I come out of? I have to step away from it. I have to step away from it to go for my purpose in God. You holding on to what? Guys, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. And you know how I know it's true? He said the end was set from the beginning. He said in Hebrews 4, in Abraham, he says, my works were finished from the foundation of the world, but you didn't believe. There remains a rest for the people of God. And you know what? Now it remains. Okay, so we'll wait till the next great apostle comes around. No. It's here. You step into that rest now. Say, here I am, God. I'm stepping into the purposes of God. But my situation, I know you're going back to your house, but it's a new life. Didn't we sing, He makes everything new all the time? Okay, when is it going to be new in your life? Oh, it's Sunday's a song to sing in church. No, it's a reality. I'm sorry for my children. I'm sorry for everybody that, I got the blame for everything always. I'm like, oh, okay, blame if you want to. Go your cycles if you want to. Bye-bye. I'm on my way. I have signed. I'm going up. I want to call it out tonight. Who will go up this mountain of God? Guys, it is an awesome place. It is just one awesome place. But we have to understand the fullness. Now, can I drop the last bomb? 4 is earthy, so there has to be 4 judgments. Patterns. It has to fit the patterns. The patterns. Everything is patterns. Go play a guitar, a keyboard, it's patterns. The more you know the patterns, the better you play. It's patterns. The judgments of the world, the judgments of sin, they all came out. And here was the judgment of the world, the sheep and the goats. And everybody that was not written in the Lamb's book of life, that had the mark of the beast, were in the eternal lake of fire. Now, I'm telling you, guys, if you waited 4,000 years in the shadow of death for judgment, oh my God, that door opens, I'm out. You must be really stupid. Now, all my life, my whole life, I've only found 2 persons that literally went against God, cursed the Holy Spirit. Everybody else, they don't serve God. You ask them, do you believe in Jesus? Yeah, I believe in Jesus. Do they serve Him? No. Okay, God says, whosoever, God so loved the world that whosoever believe shall not perish but have everlasting life. He doesn't say whosoever conquer the kingdom. He doesn't say whosoever is a victorious Christian. If you believe, you will not perish. Just believe in Him. And the principle was set from the beginning. The man on the cross. The man on the cross. Remember me. Well, why don't I just remember me too? Because I've decided to step into his purpose. If you want to remember, well, go remember him. He will remember you. Listen, go around this town. Ask people, do you believe in Jesus? They all believe in Jesus. Do they live for him? No. The minute they die, remember me. He says, okay. Then there's those that see the kingdom. Then there's those that is willing to enter the kingdom. How do you enter? Through water and fire. What is it? It takes your will away. It kills you. You sign up to die. It's a good death. I always, in the Bible school, when they came, my first lesson to all the Bible school students, I said, okay, I want to enlighten you today that God is, his purpose for you is to die. But don't worry, he does it in a very good way. He makes you fall in love. It's a sweet, sweet death. It's the truth. It's a nice death. Come on. That shows you, guys, it's nice to die. Let it go. What are you holding on to? I told you. Okay, so there's another judgment. Revelation 20 speaks about the white throne judgment. Numbers, colors, symbols, and patterns. Colors, white. It's not black. It's not red. It's white. Because the throne room is now inside of you. Christ is in you. It's here. It's a fire. It's the spirit in you that burns all your rubbish. He says, the wood, the hay, the stubble will go, but you will be saved. God, burn in us. We want the flame. Are you knowing what you're saying? I'm like, if they sing that song, I'd run. I've burned enough. Do you understand? Why? Because he's dealing with it now so that don't you land in eternal hell with fire. Oh, you know what happened to me? You actually need what's happening to you. How can you say that? Because I've been through the worst and I'm not the same person. Because this life is not eternal. Eternity is already started inside. So the white throne judgment, we are in it. We don't ascend to some throne room. It's here. In other words, when you understand the word, you don't make new doctrines. You don't become mystical. The mysteries are opened. Okay. I think this was a big fruit salad in the word. Sure. Did you make up something? Have you got questions? You may ask me any question. Okay. The natural mind, you have to get out of the natural mind. Numbers are like principles. Fourth, third, seventh is principles. It's not numbers. Because he says in John 2, he says, on the third day, there was a marriage to Canaan. A third day of what? How does the Bible say that? Third day is a concept because on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and he saw Moriah. By the way, Moriah is the same place as Golgotha. Do you understand? The third day, because he rose the third day. Now, when it comes to a year, time is also comparisons. You can't read Bible time like we read it because Jesus says, my hour has not come. And then he says, my hour has come. He didn't die in an hour. But he talks about a day of vengeance, but a year of favor. Okay, this is the hour, this is the day, and this is the year. it's comparisons. It's day. You have to. The more you read it, the more you see it. Does that answer you? Okay. Any other questions? Yep. Okay. How do you climb a ladder? Step by step by step. You're not going to step up where I am. This is why I say you can all have my number and you can all ask me questions, because just a question like that, I don't want to wait 3 weeks before someone answer me. You start where you're at. So this is how I suggest you read. I read and read and read and read, and I put myself into the word, and then something jumps up on me. And we all have phones. Download an app on your phone where you can have the Bible concordance. I've got one that's got the Strongs, everything. Wow, we're the most fortunate generation. Then you look up like water, city. Like you follow it, because he says, seek out the book and find its mate. What happened to me is the more I read, I wrote, but I read that there, and I read that there, and I look it up. And one thing I don't do, every time I open a book, I'm like, where am I reading? Where am I reading? Can I give you quickly another sermon, seeing that I'm not going to be able to preach it? This pattern that was given to Moses, he says, do not change it. You're not allowed to change it, because this pattern fits the Christ. It's literally the outer court, his legs, his body, and his head. So we are the body, and he's the head now. Do you understand? Because this is the shadow of the good things to come. But this is the shadow of the bad things that was. So our government still follows their shadows. But we are now in the good things. Do you understand? You cannot change that pattern. So a guy is preaching at our place. See if you can see what I am trying to say. There's the outer court, the inner court, and the Holy of Holies. Here is the candlestick and the bread and the altar. And here is the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, let me draw it like that. Okay? And here is the water laver and the sacrifice altar. There is a gate, there is a door, and there is a veil. Jesus says, I'm the door, I'm the light, I'm the bread. Okay, so you cannot change that pattern. Hebrews 8, you cannot change the pattern. And this guy is preaching on the tabernacle in our church in Hebrews 9. And shall I read it to you? Then you see like, what? See if you can spot the difference. Because I'm like, whoa, I nearly fell off my chair. He said, verily, the first covenant had ordinances of a divine service and a worldly sanctuary, for there was a tabernacle made. The first, wherein was the candlestick. Huh? This is the first. He says, this is the second. This is the third. He says, the first, wherein is the candlesticks and the table of showbread. And after the second veil, the tabernacle is called the Holy of All, with the golden censer and the ark. I'm like, what? I went through Bible school. I taught 3 Bible schools. And I never saw this. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. What's happening here? You can't change this pattern. Till I understood. You have to read it, find its mates. So this is Hebrews 8. Hebrews 9, I read this for 3 weeks every day till God said to me, Annalise, where are you reading? I'm like, God, I'm in Hebrews. And he said to me, I've already come through the gate. You're not going through Israel anymore. I've already paid the sacrifice and I washed you. This is out. And because I know Revelation, this goes on and it finishes in Revelation 11. He talks about the 2 witnesses first. But he says, measure the temple and leave all of that because it's given. Just measure those that are inside because we have now come to the city. There's a progression. Okay, this is the same that happens in Daniel. If you read about that statue, that's Daniel 2. Daniel 2 is the statue, Babylon. Gold, silver, bronze, iron. Babylon, Medo, Persia, Greece, and Rome. Then you cannot just read it. Then you read Daniel 7, because in Daniel 7, Daniel has visions. And he saw 4 beasts coming out the sea. A lion, a bear, a leopard, and a very ferocious one with 10 horns. Now, I can go there, but I can't go. There's no time to bring Revelation to you now. You better invite me back for Revelation. So you can't stop there. Then this is finished in Revelation 13, where he says, I stand upon the sand of the sea. Again, why the sand of the sea? Israel was supposed to be the stars of heaven. They became the sand of the sea. And out of the sea comes one animal. He has a mouth like a lion, claws like a bear. He looks like a leopard. And he has 10 horns and 7 heads. So it's a progression. It's a progression. Do you understand? You cannot read Revelation. If you read Revelation, you have to go all the prophets and everything with that. And if you read them all together, you'll understand. Ezekiel. Now, there is 4 animals in Daniel 7. A lion, a bear, a leopard, and a very ferocious one. 4 animals. Everybody, 4 is earthy. But this was also the preparation of Christ's body. Now, there's a scripture. You can write this down. Exodus 24:10. Here, the whole nation saw the God of Israel. And under his feet were a paved work of sapphire stone, meaning it's a process being. Like in its clearness, like the body of heaven. I'm like, oh my God, I never saw that. After 45 years in ministry, I never saw that. So don't feel bad if you don't understand. This took me years. Now, he says, if you look at the prophets here, Ezekiel was in while they were sitting at the rivers of Babylon, refusing to sing the Lord's song. Ezekiel was in Babylon at the river Chebar. And the heavens opened up. What did he saw? A man, an ox, an eagle, and a lion. What was the man? Noah. What was the ox? Abraham, the obedient one. What was the eagle? David, the royal one. And the lion, which becomes a lamb. So now the church wants to roar. And Jesus says, let this mind be in you. The lion became a lamb. What is that? Dying to your will. Because you cannot step into the purposes of God with your natural mind. You have to die for your mind and your will. Not my will, but your will be done. But he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. God showed me something yesterday at the ark. It just, I promise you, when it starts opening, it just doesn't stop. I just can't get enough. I haven't got enough places to preach and every place I've got to go, I first have to pick people up. So that's why I do YouTube. I'm going to hit YouTube when I go back now. I've got so much to preach. Did it answer you a little? Anybody else with a question? Yeah. Okay, let me, I did mention it. but I'm going to go. No, I did mention it, but I know I've got to go like, I'm going to go a little further than I should have gone now. So,
It is rest, the resurrected body, and is that coming out through patterns, through the Spirit, and that's how we're being changed by the Spirit. The Spirit changes the body, but we're going on to rest, which is resurrected body. Is what I'm asking correctly.
okay. So, the minute I got saved, they told me my soul is saved. I've got news for you all. My soul is still not saved. My spirit is forever perfected. I wish I could preach that. My spirit is forever perfected. Hebrews 10, verse 14. Hebrews 6, let's go on to perfection. Now, 1 Peter 1:9 says, the end of your faith is the salvation of your soul. What is the salvation of your soul? The minute your mind is totally his mind. When your mind is his mind, the body has to follow. Because he says in Ephesians 1, Jesus came and paid the price, and we are sealed with the Spirit until the redemption of the purchased possession. And Romans 8 says, until the redemption of the body. So this is the Reformation. Death before the cross is not the same as death after the cross. After the cross, Hebrews 14:13 says, if you die in Christ, you rest from your labor and your work follow you. But you will be changed, because he says, we shall not all die, because why we are part of the saints written in heaven. We shall not all die. There's some of them waiting for us. Some of us are going to die. I personally don't think maybe I'm going to make it, but I really know the next generation can take it if they want it. This is why we need to agree on truths. Because if we can agree, guys, you don't have to do anything. You have to agree to believe. He does the work if only he can get people to agree. If you can agree on this, Sunday people is going to sit here. They're not going to hear this, and they're going to get these things downloaded on them. Agreement. 2 is agreement. So, you get what I'm saying?
Understanding is correct, and what you're saying is the same.
But I'm going to take you something further now. She's now pushing me to a point. Okay. The end is set from the beginning. The end is set from the beginning. 10, perfect. 7, God's number. Okay. Cain killed his brother, and his generation went down. God gave Adam another seed in Seth. Seth seed line. Adam's genealogy. Adam's genealogy is also the genealogy of humanity. There's 10. 10 is complete. But he goes on. The 7th is Enoch. He didn't die. He didn't die. But when Enoch was there was still 3. Noah's name means rest. Ararat means the curse is broken. Noah's daddy said, this man will rid us from the curse of the earth. So what happened here? The curse of water was taken care of. The curse of fire is taken care of. That there's going to be a generation that's going to go through the water, through the fire, and it's not going to touch us. But Mark 4 says, it's a seed, a blade, a ear, and a harvest. Peter says, the same Jesus, just after Pentecost, the same Jesus will come again. But There will be times of refreshing until the restitution, and then there'll be rest. This is not written up in the Bible. It's written up in church history, and we don't understand it. You see what the church did? The river of God is flowing, and then we would say, oh, this is what God's doing, and the river is overflowing, and then they build a wall and say, this is what God's doing, and they build another dam, and these ones always judge these ones, and these ones persecute, and blah, blah, blah. The river is now going to flow, and no one is going to know who belongs to who, because we're going to swim to live. The river is deep. Do you get it? So what we have here is day 1 is the flood. Day 2 is Abraham, water from water. Day 3, David came and said, I'm a tree planted by the river. We are not trees planted by the river. We branches engrafted. We keep mixing the old and the new. Jesus is the tree. Oh, come on. I said it last night. I have to say it for everybody that was not there. All the trees were chopped down, but only out of the stem of Jesse comes one branch. Jesus of Nazareth means branch of no significance. The branch. The Spirit of God is on him. The Spirit of wisdom, understanding, counsel, and might. It's not found in knowledge. Then it's knowledge and the fear of the Lord. The defect in humanity is restored when Jesus was nailed to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The defect, and it's the candlestick, and that becomes the church. You can't read these things separately. You got to fall in love with the word. You've got to read it and realize. I started last night. There is therefore now no condemnation for those that are in Christ. We condemn ourselves with the word. Listen, if you feel condemnation, you are mixing up realms. If you're messing up your marriage or having difficulty and your mind's confused, you are messing up realms and times. Get back and understand, rightly divide the word, find the purposes of God. Man, there's nothing you can do that's going to stop God from loving you. I'm preaching to the rehab, and this guy is just such a mess, and he's like, yeah, but God. I'm like, oh, shut up. I said to him, God died for you before you were born. Who the hell are you to blame God for that? There's nothing you can do that's going to stop God from loving you. Do you think he wants you condemned? My God, man, I was condemned in the church. I only got hurt in the church. I was never out of church. I only got hurt from preachers. I don't want to tell you what I did with some of them. Do you understand? Let it go. Let it go. There's just the next step in front of you. Just the next climb. You know, if you just give one step a day. I refuse to go to bed tonight unless I've learned something new. I can't wait to preach it. I've got 6 terabytes of video material that I must edit. I just don't get the time. The best is yet to come. Jesus didn't, listen, please, nobody could stop him from coming. Do you think what is happening now is going to stop us? Our problem is we are light and darkness in one plane. Do you understand? Here, it was light and darkness, old and new in one plane. Now we grab back to the old. Get out of it. It's for freedom Christ has set you free. I don't care if you've been bound all your life and suffering all your life. The minute you step out, a lady came to me and said, I want to share something with you, but you are on such a level. I said, oh, does the Spirit have levels? This is why we think we've got to pay penitence or something for what we've done wrong. What have you done wrong? Say sorry. And then you say, I am forgiven. Well, I've never done those things. So one day I just went swearing. And I said, okay, God, forgive me. So I can also say, I am forgiven. Sin is sin. It's disobedience. He doesn't measure it if you were in the ditches for, it doesn't matter what you did. You missed God by not fearing him and obeying him. He's not interested in what you do. He's interested if you receive his gift. So if we try to do, it's like we throw back in God's face what he did for us. Oh, how am I going to do it? No, I'm not going to do it. Watch this space. You know what? If you're dead, they can't kill you. So I took a pillow because nothing in me was dead. Look, I was an African lion. I took a pillow for 2-3 weeks. Every day I walked through my house, kicked the pillow. I was like, Annalise, he's not kicking back. I scream at him, he's not screaming back. I said, that's what it looks like to be dead. You want to go with me? I'm like, okay. I look at you right now. I said, bye. In this country, I've been to 4 preachers. I look at them right now. I say, bye. You'll never see me again. I'm not playing around this mountain. Play your games. Yeah, but you know what that one said. You know what this one said. Why would that be in my mind? You know what I saw about the tabernacle this morning? Come on, guys. Can we get out of our minds into the Spirit? Out of our minds into the Spirit. Let go. Let go of it. Most of us are so stuck, we don't even think we can do anything. So the minute you think you can't do anything, it's the minute you're actually not accepting him. You know, he can save us, but he can't use us. Well, I'm just a vessel. Heavenly Father, I thank you that your word is forever settled in the heavens. Everybody, look here. When we've come here, we're actually there. And we've got 3 days to restore the earth. So what he did when he came here, he brought rest with him. So we can enter the rest. That's why we don't keep the Sabbath. The whole law is in our hearts. But he came and said, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath. There remains a rest for the people of God. You can step into it now. God, I refuse to go one day further with my natural mind, thinking of things that has got nothing to do with the purposes of God in my life. God, I only understand now what God was so trying to tell me. You have prepared a place for us that we can be where you are right here, right now, in this fallen situation where everything goes wrong and everything is dying around us, but you can't kill God, and God's inside of us. God, I thank you for life. I thank you for light. I thank you for the word. Thank you, God, that you gave us the word. We want to cherish it. I pray that your word will open for these people like never, ever, ever before, and it will just burst open for them in Jesus' name. Amen.